Joining us now on the line is the Brisbane Roar Chief Executive, Peter McLennan. Peter.
Good evening, Chris.
Great news for the three lads. Not such good news for Brisbane or their fans.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic news for the three boys. Obviously, we're very excited for them. They've now got a chance to step up on the world stage and see what they can do in one of the biggest clubs in Dutch football. So we're extremely proud of them and what they've achieved in their short stint over there. But I think, look, more importantly, I think we feel as a club, it's also equally extremely good news, for our club, but also for our fans. We never expected this to happen, with the players when they went over there for the 2-week training camp. But they clearly impressed and secured contracts at FC. Because for us as a club, this was clearly unexpected. But what it has done is it's actually given us a very bright future. As a club, we're now in the best financial position we've been in since our inception. It means that we can move forward with confidence into season 6 and beyond of the A-League. But I can completely understand that some of our fans out there makes this as a negative move by letting all three of the players go at one time. But I must point out that had we denied the boys this opportunity, the reality is that the boys could have come back and played at their final year of their contracts and then made the move next year on a free transfer. So difficult decision that the club had to make, but we believe it was the right one for longevity of the Brisbane Roar.
So Peter, in some ways, was this a purely financial decision for the club?
Look, when it comes to the sale of any players in terms of any A-League club, there's different factors to consider. We value our players and their talent, and we would never stand in the way of their careers and their growth as players on the international stage. So part of the decision to let them allow them to take their next step in their careers was being realistic, and knowing that it was the best thing for them. On the other side, what it does also is it frees up some room to move in our salary cap. But more importantly, basically speaking from a financial point of view, it certainly it puts our club in a strong position. It secured our future, and that's good news for our fans.
Were we near the mark, Peter, when we said it was close to a $2 million deal?
Oh, look, the figures will remain confidential. It's between the two clubs, and but as I said, from a financial point of view, that the club's sound, and we can move forward with confidence now.
How are you going to replace the players you've just lost, Peter?
Yeah, look. Obviously, I think if we're honest with ourselves, it's going to be very difficult to replace the three boys. Tomer in particular. But we have our eye on a few quality A-League players and a few overseas players. Andrew's currently over in Europe at the moment, looking at a few players. And from all reports back, is that there's a couple of players out there that over there that can definitely come back and do a job for us. I think also, you can't underestimate the local talent that's running around. I think when you look at Ivan Franjic, for example, we brought him in a 6-week injury replacement last season and absolutely Sean did a great job for us throughout the season. Another player, for example, is young Matt Smith, who we were looking at one stage, and the Fury beat us to it. He got inside, I believe, a 2 or 3 year deal with North Queensland Fury and was one of their better players towards the end of their season. So, look, it's certainly out there, but when you look at the nucleus, of our players that we currently have in the Matt Mackay's and the Massimo Madokas, to name a few, and then when you had our new players coming into the mix, like a Michael Theokotos, Andrew Redmayne, Eric Barachula, Costa Barbarousos, and we've also got 2 vacant visa spots available as well. So look, I'm more than confident that we'll certainly have a competitive side that'll take the pitch next season.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks very much for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, well, those Brisbane players have moved on to pastures new. A Socceroo who's done more than his fair share of travelling returned to these shores this week. Craig Moore's stint at the Greek club Kavala was unexpectedly cut short amid reports he'd been sacked. Those claims were immediately dismissed by the defender from his Gold Coast home, where he spoke to Jonathan Williams.
Well, mate, you've been reportedly sacked and thrown out of the club and whatever else. Can you tell us?
Well, it's hard. You're trying to explain something that there's no story there. There's nothing to explain. Since I've been back in Australia, I've had contact with the club and asked them where these stories have come from, and they were like, "Well, we don't know what stories you're talking about." So I don't know whether there's an official, unofficial website where the information has come from. But I guess the easiest way, and I guess to tell people, feel free to get in contact with Kavala. I think the coach has come out and spoken and said that there was a lot of rubbish. The reason why I come back was we had 2 games left, and our season had come to an end, to be honest. So I went through the all the right channels, and totally at ease with the situation. It was just a little bit surprised, I guess, to come home to the stories. But you know, it's not the first time in my career that these stories have come out, which again, people probably then think, well, there's no smoke without fire. My mum phones me as soon as I get back, so I know how the media works, and you know, she believes, like a lot of people, that it must be true if it's in the paper or it's reported through the press. But you know, that's not a criticism of the media. I mean, where the information has come from, I still don't know.
I guess a lot of people are going to ask questions if you're going to go into the state league team. Is that probably the best?
Well, I mean, I don't. Well, is training for 5 weeks in Europe the best preparation? Again, like I said, I've played 44 games this season. I'm not a young player. I was going to have to take rest at some stage. I come out with the state league thing. I don't know whether that's possible. Whether it was just one of those things that come off at the time. I'll sit down and continue to talk to Pim to see what the best plans are leading forward.
What would another World Cup mean to you? A great way to finish what's probably going to be.
Well, I mean, this one would be a lot, I guess, a lot sweeter because leading into it has not been. I guess with the situation at the Royal when I left, and also what's come out now. Like I said, I know there's a lot of doubters out there now, and I'm determined to really go out there and to prove those people wrong.
Now, who's going to win the World Cup? Who's Australia going to play in the World Cup final?
You know what? A lot of people are not going to like me saying this, but I've just got something about England this time round.
A lot of people aren't going to like it.
No, I know, but I don't know. I just think we're. You know, Capello, he doesn't allow any superstars, which I think in previous campaigns with the English squad, you've got some fantastic players there, and they've got huge profiles at their clubs, and tended to bring that into the national team. For me, there was always a lot of problems with the national team, but he certainly hasn't tolerated any of that, and I think they'll be a real force. I really do.
As always.